there are many different types of entities that like to loosh, steal your energy, that like to siphon, that drain. So the frequency signature of succubi has more to do with the seductive allure. The traditional iconic succubus is a beautiful, sexual, female siren type seductress. It is often sexualized, and that is a very common type of succubus, though the succubus is not isolated to female by any means, because after all, a lot of the times these entities, like most entities, hop into a host and they're siphoning the host, and then they move through the host to access someone else. So this could come as male, female, what have you. Now, the frequency signature, again, it's temptation. There's some kind of an allure. Though what's interesting that I've noticed for me, and I think this has more to do with that I know about succubi, so I'm already registering, I'm dealing with this. But if you are intuitive enough to suspect or register that you're interacting with, or you possibly are a succubus, then there's some kind of a repulsive undertone. So if you're experiencing a succubus, at some point, you're going to feel some level of repulsion to the energy. It's just kind of like the counter swing to the seduction and temptation. There's always a tell. If you are a succubus and suspect this about yourself, then you will notice that at times people are repulsed by you. And this, again, could be an undertone, because that's not the type of thing that people often share with another, or even that somebody wants to correlate to another person, because we often feel things we don't know has anything to do necessarily with the person around us. We're just registering our feelings, right? Okay. So the most common types of succubi that I'm noting here as an example is one, the easiest one to identify, we've already spoken about, is the sexual siren seduction type, female or male. This type of succubus will be very attractive, possibly erotic, alluring, what have you. It could be anywhere from, down and dirty, nitty-gritty porn star to just cute little next door type, or the handsome debonair man, walking down the street, what have you. There's a sexual element to it, and their specific type of siphoning is sexual, which makes it more obvious, right? The next type of succubus that I'm going to use as an example is going to be a money drain. So my example here is, do you have a partner, or are you a partner that is constantly draining your partner's money, or you're being drained of money? There's always more going out the door. It's never enough, no matter what is given or received. Money keeps going out the door. Your partner is never fully satisfied with what they have. They always want more. But at the same time, you're seduced by this. Maybe you want to please your partner. Hopefully you do want to please your partner. And they also give back, because it is a give and take, but you definitely noticed the cycle. That one is less obvious than the sexual succubus, but more obvious than the business siphon. So a business succubus is going to siphon your time. They are going to siphon your sweat equity. They are going to steal your ideas and claim them as their own, all the while being suave enough to seem on the up and up with you and stay friends with you, while continuing to take and get you to do more than you're currently earning. This could be a coworker, it could also be a boss. Now, that allure is going to be a bit different with business, right? The allure might be you're going to earn more money, or you're hoping to get a raise, or a job title boost, or just please your boss, what have you. And in my opinion, the most difficult type of succubus to spot is the psychic drain. This type of succubus is going to siphon your psychic energy, your emotional energy, your loosh. And this could be anyone in your vicinity or field. All they have to do is get access to you. Now, how do we recognize and spot these succubus? There is absolutely a cycle that will play out. So the first that's going to happen is the trap. You become the bait. This will be set through seduction or allure, right? It could be as obvious as, being sexualized. Maybe you're going to a strip club, or you're watching porn, or you're having a one-night stand. That type of allure, it's really obvious. It's sexual, it's sensual, it's erotic, it's passionate, what have you, okay? If it's business, it's going to be performing at the job, making the money, impressing your boss, staying on, a good rapport with your coworkers. If it's your partner, it could also be sexual. It might just be pleasing your partner. It could be the emotional tie, the engagement. It could be, trauma bonding, what have you. And if it's a psychic siphon, it's often going to be that you two connect in some way where you enjoy this camaraderie, enjoy the engagement, or they are offering you assistance or support in some way, just as you're offering them assistance and support. There's always some kind of interaction in that regard. There will always be FaceTime, but you can still pick up a succubus through media, through digital, through virtual, okay? So, but you're still offering FaceTime through those devices, right? Now, the seduction engagement bait trap has happened, okay? It's like the Venus flytrap puts out the pheromones that attracts the insects, and then it snaps shut. Now, while you're in the trap, you're most likely going to enjoy it because there's some kind of enticing engagement happening. There needs to be some kind of either very obvious experience of euphoria as sex during intercourse, or some kind of camaraderie, banter back and forth that is going to keep you diverted long enough so that the succubus can insert the proboscis or the tentacle, which they utilize to siphon. Now, a proboscis is what a mosquito has to insert the needle in to siphon the blood. Same difference. In my clairvoyant view, I've only ever seen these two types of insertions utilized by succubi, though it does not mean by any means there aren't other types. It's just what I've seen, okay? And I've also seen the most common area or zone to insert these tentacles or proboscis is going to be in the back body. Think any orifice, any open hole, and this includes chakras, okay? Back body is most often utilized because this type of entity is attacking through a sneak attack. So they're going to go at your back where you literally can't see as easily. If it's sexual, think of your sexual zones. It's going to be up the sphincter muscles. It's going to be, in the sexual zones. All orifices, all open holes. I've seen it in all of those zones. I've seen insertion in the mouth. I've seen it in between the shoulder blades. I've seen it eyes, ears, crown, what have you. So the insertion is made and you haven't really noticed it because you're subdued through the engagement. You're having some kind of either obvious euphoric engagement or simply camaraderie, enjoyment. There's some kind of intoxication because there is a seduction and subduing with the intoxicant, the pheromones released to engage you in the first place. And then further, when the proboscis is inserted, it is like an energetic venom or intoxicant, then gives you a further numbing and euphoria so the prey doesn't feel the take. It doesn't feel the siphon, okay? Now, once this has all passed and everything is played out, there is always going to be a drain. There's going to be a fogginess, a cloudiness. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're baffled. It depends on the situation. It might be immediate if you're sensitive. It could be the next day. It could be hours later. If you had an engagement of a sexual succubus while being under the influence of alcohol or drugs, you might not notice this type of fogginess because of your hangover. So the chemicals can cover or mask this, but you're still going to be feeling some kind of a fogginess, a confusion, bottoming out in some form. Now, most of the time, the succubus will not remove the proboscis unless it has to, right? So that means that you're still under the control and vulnerable to the succubus's will. And because there is a proboscis or tentacles still inserted, they will engage or trigger a new cycle. They will do something that gets you to re-engage with them. This could be a lustful thought if it's the sexual piece, imagery. It could be, a promotional, it could be the money, it could be with your partner wanting to connect. It could be also just that because this person or the succubus is placed into your normal daily or weekly routine, that you see them again, that's when the cycle re-ups. And then this entire cycle will start all over again, which will quite quickly create an addiction user-taker type cycle that will keep happening. If you think you're experiencing a succubus or that you may be a succubus, you are welcome to reach out and contact me at worldpeaceprojects.global. I absolutely will help you with this to assist yourself to get rid of this succubus, whether that be it is infesting your body or it is infesting the body of somebody in your life. Often, it can be that you're going to have to get away from this interaction, but it is not by any means impossible if the other person doesn't want to have this experience. They don't want to be that way. They can also help clear themselves, because remember, most of the time you're dealing with an entity that is utilizing or infesting a host. It's not necessarily the person, though it absolutely can be. It can be a person that is simply a succubus, and that's the way it is. And you need to realize that, right? So if you suspect that you have a succubus in your life or you've had an experience like this, let me know in the comments below. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for liking and subscribing. It's so good to connect with you guys. I hope you're well. Bye.